Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this video, you're going to learn about the measures of variability, the range, mean deviation, or also known as the average deviation, the variance, standard deviation of ungrouped data. What do we mean by variability? Variability refers to how far apart the data set from each other. It is also called the measures of spread, how spread out the data set. So again, these measures include range, mean deviation or average deviation, variance, and standard deviation. Let's start with the range. The range of a set of data is the difference between the highest and the lowest values. So it means we're just going to find the lowest and the highest in the set of data. Okay, so here, one way to find the lowest and the highest is you can arrange the set of data from least to greatest or greatest to least. But this is how I do it. 11, I'll start this. Is there any higher than 11? So 23, is there any higher than 23? 26, higher than 26, 28, higher than that, 45, higher than 45, 49, and higher than 49, 50. Okay, so no more. It means the highest is 50. And again, for the lowest score, I'll start with 11. Lower than 11, 8. Lower than 8, okay, no more. So it means that 8 is the lowest and 50 is the highest. So I'm just going to get the highest value minus the lowest value, and that is now equal to the range. So that is now 50 minus 8. That is equal to 42, which is the range of the set of data. Okay, next is to compute for the mean deviation. So this is another measure of variability. Mean deviation, or also known as the average deviation. So this is again for ungrouped data. So the formula in finding for the mean deviation, so MD, or you can use average deviation or AV, is equal to the summation of the absolute value of X minus the mean. This is actually the mean divided by N. So here, so what is that X means? That's the individual scores. And then this X with the bar there, the line, that is also the symbol for mean. And the N is the number of data. Now, this is absolute value. So if we're going to find the mean deviation of the following test scores, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we need to create or construct a table in order to organize our data. So in our table, we have here, we have the 3 column here. So in the first column here, we're going to put the scores, the individual scores. So let's name that as X. And for the second one, we have the X minus the mean. Okay? X means the score, the individual scores, minus the mean. And then, after that is for us to get the absolute value of that deviation. This is actually the deviation from the mean. Okay, so let's now enumerate the scores here. That's from the lowest to the highest one. So that is 5, 9, another 9, 10, 12, 15. Okay, but you can cross out once you use that like this, so you're not gonna be confused or you're not gonna miss any scores here like that. Okay, so now we need to get the deviation from the mean. It means that X minus the mean, but we don't have mean yet. It means we need to get the mean of this scores. You know already how to get the mean. Simply the summation of X divided by how many values here? 6. So we need to get the summation first. The formula again for mean, that is the summation of X divided by N. N is the number of data. So we're going to add all of this, and that is equal to 60. Okay, so now summation of X, that is 60 divided by 6, and that is equal to 10. So the mean now is equal to 10. Okay, it means that deviation from the mean, the score, individual scores here, we need to subtract 10. So start with 5. So 5 minus 10, that is equal to negative 5. 9 minus 10, that is equal to negative 1. 9 minus 10 again, negative 1. 10 minus 10, that is 0. 12 minus 10, that is 2. And 15 minus 10 is 5. Okay, so we'll already have the deviation from the mean. The next is simply get the absolute value of this deviation from the mean. Okay, it means that negative 5, the absolute value of negative 5 is simply 5. You just remove the sign in getting the absolute value. 1, 1, 0, 2, and 5. Okay, then next, look at the formula. Summation of the absolute value of this one, deviation from the mean. So it means we're just going to add all these numbers here, and that is equal to 5, 7, and 7. That is equal to 14. The summation is equal to 14. Okay, now you have now the numerator. This is now the numerator divided by n. N is 6. So we can now get the mean deviation 14 divided by 6, and that is equal to 2.33. Okay, rounded to the two decimal places. Okay, so that's how you're going to compute for the mean deviation or average deviation. Now, mean deviation tells us how far on average all values from the center. So look at this one, 2.3. That's the result. Okay, next measures of variability is what we call the variance. Again, this is for ungrouped data. Okay, same scores we're going to use. Now, look at the formula. This is the symbol for variance. This is actually the small letter of sigma. The big letter of sigma is this one, but the small letter is this. So sigma square is equal to the summation of the quantity deviation from the mean. Remember this, deviation from the mean. But this time, we are going to square. So this is the previous table that we have a while ago for the mean deviation. Here, instead of getting the absolute value, we're going to square. Okay, so divided by n. So that's the only difference from the mean deviation. Instead of getting the absolute value, we're going to square this. So now, if you know how to get the deviation from the mean, it's easy now to compute for the variance. Okay, since we already have the mean here of the scores, and we already have the deviation from the mean, so we can just proceed on this. So we have squaring negative 5, square this, it means negative 5 times negative 5, that is 25. And negative 1 times negative 1 is 1, same thing, 1, 0. 2 times 2 or 2 squared, that is 4. 5 squared, that is 25. So squaring. Okay, now this is here, but we need to get the summation. So summation, simply we're just going to add all of this. So we have 25 plus 25, that is 50, 54, 55, 56. Summation of the square of the deviation from the mean is equal to 56. Now, simply, we're just going to divide by n, which is the number of data, that is 6. Okay, so that is now, the variance is equal to 56 divided by 6, and that is equal to 9.33. Okay, so that's how you're going to compute for the variance. It's easy, right? Since you already have the data or the table that you had from the mean deviation, you can easily find the square, and that is now the variance. Next is the standard deviation. So this is another measure of variability. Again, this is for ungrouped data. Now, if you know how to compute for the variance, it is very easy to compute for the standard deviation because standard deviation is simply you're just getting the square root of the variance. Okay, look at this one. This is the formula in calculating for the variance. And what's the difference? This is the formula for standard deviation. Okay, the inside here, the same. The only difference is we're going to get the square root. Okay, so standard deviation is getting the square root of the variance. Okay, look at this. This Q, this is the symbol sigma, right? The small letter for sigma, which is also the symbol for standard deviation. For variance, this is sigma squared. Okay, now look at this one. So we have the summation here, and we have this inside also of radical sign divided by n. Or simply, standard deviation is equal to the square root of the variance. Okay, now we already computed for the variance. Of course, we are using the same score. So we have here the x. This is the deviation from the mean. 10 is the mean that we computed a while ago. And this is now the deviation, the result of deviation from the mean. And then we square this. 25, 1, 1, 0, 4, squaring the result here, 525. And the summation of this is equal to 56. Okay? And that is now the numerator here. And n is simply 6. Which means that if we already computed for the variance, which is 9.33, that's the result a while ago. To get now the standard deviation is simply get the square root of 9.33. So that is, substitute that is equal to 9.33. And then get the square root of that is 3.05. That is now the standard deviation. Okay, it's very easy. That's all for this video, and thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos. Bye! See you on the next one.